Welcome back, guys, to episode 20 of Scrubbed In. So today's episode, we're going to actually focus in on a question that we was asked on Instagram recently. So one question that we got asked was, do you have to have a certain personality to become a doctor? I think a couple of teachers out there have been sort of saying to their students, you don't have the personality to become a doctor. So today what we're going to do is me and Abdul are actually going to go through the 16 personality test and show you that we don't even have similar personalities, and probably a lot of our friends and colleagues, none of them have the same personality of a doctor, supposedly. So yeah, Abdul, let's go quickly through the 16 personality test. Go on, let's do the questionnaire. Okay.
So there's, if you go 16personalities.com, you can do the test on your website. It's just a bunch of questions on how you react in different situations. So we'll quickly do it. We've done most of it already, so we can just...
Alright, done. Submit.
Yeah.
Done?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Abdul, you're up first.
Alright.
So what's your personality?
So my personality, the one I got is, in this moment in time in life, is campaigner. So it is ENFP. Alright?
Okay, go on.
So it's the guy in green. You can show the picture.
Yeah.
What did you get?
So
This
I
is kind
got,
of tense, you know.
and let's not reveal it yet.
Alright,
Let's
go
not
on.
reveal it yet.
Go
Tell
on.
me about who you are and what does it involve, and
Alright,
tell me
so
a
we'll
lot about
start
it.
with strengths and weaknesses, and then we can talk about other stuff. So, curiosity.
Alright.
So, imaginative, open-minded, lots of new ideas and stuff like that, which I'll probably agree with. Observant, energetic, excellent communicators.
Yeah.
Know how to relax. That is true.
Interesting. You need all of those things to study medicine, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right now ticking
Look
all
at
the
this.
boxes.
Very popular and friendly, yeah.
Okay. Very popular and friendly.
Alright.
Abdul Rahyead.
Alright, our weaknesses.
Yeah, let's go to that.
Oh my god. It goes poor practical skills.
He's a surgeon. He's been assisting in theatre. Okay, carry on.
But that's true, yeah. I'm not good at administration, organization, stuff like that. 100% true. Find it difficult to focus. Alright? I'm always jumping from one
You
thing to
want him
another.
to be in theatre?
Okay. Overthink things. That's true.
Yeah.
Get stressed easily. I'm not too sure about that, but that can happen. Fair enough. Highly emotional.
Wait, whoa. Slow down.
Yeah.
Highly emotional. Do you agree with that
I
one?
don't agree with highly emotional.
What does it say?
So it goes, while emotional expression is healthy and natural, with campaigners even viewing it as a core part of their identity, it can come out strongly enough to cause problems for this personality type. Nah, I don't agree with this one. So, independent to a fault. So this is my truth. So I hate being micromanaged.
Yeah.
I like to do things on my own timeline, my own time frame, and how I want to do things.
But as a doctor, you can't though.
No, you can.
You can to an extent.
So, but that is enough, right? So, as a medical doctor, right, you do, let's say we'll start on an average day. So you do your wardrobe.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do. But your boss doesn't tell you how to do it, or he's not over your shoulders. We have the autonomy to do things how we want to do it. And you can do it now, you can do it 20 minutes later.
You know what? You're right and you're wrong at the same time in some bits and bobs. So my best consultants, the jobs that I've loved are those jobs that you've just described.
Yeah.
Where the consultant will go around, make the big decisions, and I don't care how you do it, just
As long
do
as
it your way. I don't care how, when, why, do it your way. And those are the jobs I enjoy because, again, you're not being micromanaged.
They have autonomy to do it.
But I've had jobs where the consultants are doing 4 or 5 ward rounds in the same day, doing all the small bits and saying, do it like this, do this like
Okay,
this.
that's different. So I would hate that.
That does
I
my
hate
head
being
in.
micromanaged. Like, I don't mind being given instruction guidance saying, Abdul, we've got this patient, we need to figure out this is happening, we need to do this and that. But at the end of the day, when you book a scan and when you speak to the radiology guy, you do it how you want to do it. You can do it first on your list or you can do it last on your list.
Yeah.
No one's telling you do this, that. This is why the perks of being a medic is we have autonomy to a certain degree.
Exactly.
It's not like, where you're told you have to do this in this process, this, because then I would find it
So that's
very
a good
difficult.
perk, isn't it?
That is
of
a
the
good
job,
perk.
yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got?
So it works in my favor. So a good thing about this is you can always, not every weakness is a weakness. Sometimes a weakness can become a strength, and at the same time, a strength can become a weakness. So
that weakness actually is
works
your
in my
strength
favor
because you prefer being given a task as you are in the field of medicine, and you like to do it your own
However way I want
as
to do
long
it.
as it obviously achieves the outcome that's desired.
Okay, fine. Let's go through your one.
All right, cool. So I got
What did you get?
drum roll. I got protagonist.
Okay, what are the
that's
letters?
ENFJA, and then /T as well. So some of the strengths that I got were tolerant, so team players, things that you need in medicine, reliable. That's one thing, you know. I hate the idea of letting someone down, right? Speaking about that yesterday.
Guys, guess what happened? You say it. You deserve to say it.
Just before recording this particular episode, we were supposed to record this actually yesterday. And what happened was I came home from work. We were discussing it on our chat as well. And I said, yeah, meet me for 7. And what happened was, in my head, I scheduled it tomorrow. Now, I've gone home and I'm planning to go to the gym. I'm not even planning to meet him. In fact, I completely messed up the whole day plan and I went to sleep. And he's gone to uni and he's come to the studio room and he's just waiting for me.
Since 7 o'clock. And I kept calling him. So from 7 till like 9:30ish, I kept calling him. So I thought maybe he's stuck because like normally Amz, when he says he's gonna come, he will come, right? Even if it's late.
Without a fail.
Yeah, so I knew. So that's why I hang around. No one will stick around for 2.5 hours, right? So I'm waiting. Luckily I had the book on me, so I was reading. So I'm waiting for him calling me, he doesn't pick up. So he goes to point. I thought, do you know what? Let me call his wife. So I messaged her, and then she's like, guess what? Amz is sleeping. So I was like, do you know what? You can't even be annoyed because I did the same to Amz throughout the whole of med school. There were days where Amz would be waiting in the cold in front of the hospital and I'll be in my bed sleeping. And then I would still think, should I go in or not? So I thought, you know what? You know what's happened? It's flipped. In med school, I used to always come late. But since you started F1, now you're always late.
It's because I have to come through Central and drive.
You got
give me the excuses, man. Come on, give me the But
at least that's why I stayed, because I knew you'd come. Like, you told me, so like, obviously it's a rare occasion.
I felt so bad. I apologized a million times to this guy.
All right, so let's.
But yeah, so that's one thing. Reliability, charismatic.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
but you were the guy that always had this good. So Amz, right? In med school, he'd always do this sweet talk, small talk with the nurses and the other workers, and I learned that from Amz. So I was never
good
good
at it. Make it sound right, man. Don't just say sweet talk. He means build a good rapport.
So he's the type of guy.
Good rapport, man.
I never used to ask how was your lunch, but I was walking in and he'd be like, "Hey nurse, like, how was lunch?" And
no, look. So his point
is gonna kill you now.
You're not explaining it well, yeah. So what happens is when you go onto the wards, you need to have a good rapport with everyone. Otherwise, people don't like you. People don't want to give you tasks and jobs. He'd go onto a ward and be like, "Yo, where's the consultant? Where's the doctor? All right, shush, safe." And then walk up. I'd go there, obviously, hello, hi, my name's Amz, this is Abdul. We're here as in 2 new medical students on the block. What's your name? How are you?
So he was good at the small talk.
Who are you? Anyway, so build a rapport and then we could do whatever we wanted. The reason why we missed whatever we missed or attended what we wanted to attend was because of that reason.
Yeah, no, it's good. No, it's good. It's helped me a lot today, so.
So word it right.
Yeah. All right.
And then natural leaders. I'm not going to lie. So it's got both teamwork and leadership, but again, I like leading. I like, for example, one thing that's not on is I like to be creative, innovative, and tie that in to try and lead the way. So I do like that. It fits with being a doctor.
And I think, with the leadership thing, that was good. I would say, like, even in med school when we were in our clinical pairs, you always was the one that kind of put the like our timetable, and you'd be like, okay, we need to do this and that, and I'd kind of listen to you. So you naturally had that leadership skills. Even when you worked for Ma, you were the head of academic and the innovation team, so naturally you have the leadership thing, whereas I feel I kind of learned from you guys and slowly develop it, but wouldn't say I'm a natural leader.
So let's go to the weaknesses, which I actually agree with a lot. So one of the thing is, so they say as a doctor you need to be empathetic but not sympathetic. You can't, because if you feel sorry for the patient, you start making decisions that aren't necessarily decisions that should be made in their best interest. Because you feel sorry for them. So one of the ones that it says is I'm too sensitive. I would say I am sensitive in the sense that, for example, I found the deaths, coming across deaths when I experienced them quite moving for me, to the point that it affected my ability to work, where I needed to have a break. So I was told, if you watched the episode 2 weeks ago, you'll see what we talk about in terms of death and how it affects us. And other moments are when I see patients that are really going through really tough patches. I consciously have to remind myself, you can empathize, but don't sympathize, because you need to act in their best interest, and be able to treat them appropriately. So that's one.
Definitely
I agree with. It says fluctuating self-esteem. Is it true? Is it not? I don't really know about that one. I think what it's talking about is, I guess you could align it with imposter syndrome. I think at first I did have, I wouldn't say esteem, I would say confidence. Having the confidence that you can deal with what you've been trained for in medical school. I agree to an extent. This one says, I struggle to make tough decisions, like if caught between a rock and a hard place, protagonists can be stricken with paralysis.
Wow.
See, there you go. So this personality says that whilst a lot of it is correct, or
it doesn't mean everything is correct.
It doesn't mean everything is correct. And maybe I would say I don't really struggle, but the thing is, through medicine and everything else, I've learned to weigh up benefits and risks and make a decision. That is what being a doctor is about, and that is why you choose to be a doctor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Over the various different healthcare professional roles. So yeah, all right, let's go on to the next stage of
career
your
paths. So campaigners. So what I mentioned is campaigners are fascinated by new ideas.
Yeah.
Both in the fields they're working in and when new things come along.
100%.
Which is true for me.
Yeah.
Like the amount of things I've set up and done and bouncing from one idea to another. So my problem is like, I always need to jump on a new project or something exciting. I don't have the patience sometimes to stick at one, which is my issue.
Agree, yeah.
And you probably know that. So it's worked in my favors and it's also worked against me. So that's true.
But again, personality isn't fixated, because whilst that's a trait of yours, you've gone on to do the projects and you've stuck
definitely
to
agree.
it.
I think for me,
it.
it's like finding out what I enjoyed and what ideas I like. Which reminds me, we can even do an episode on like hobbies and stuff like that. But once I kind of find out what I like or what makes me tick, then I think like now I'm kind of settling down and I'm not as all over the place as I was before. And it kind of mentions like, can I, this is quite true, it's like, can I fly a helicopter and write song and be a cook? So I have this problem, right? Whenever I watch a film, I want to do that. So if I'm watching a film with James Bond, I want to be James Bond. If I'm watching a film about the army, I want to be in the army. If I'm watching a film about lawyers, I want to be a lawyer. I have this problem. Whatever I watch, I'm easily influenced. That's
and
one thing.
You know, you're infectious as well, because you've passed it on to me, where if we watch whatever we watch, we want to...
We get emotionally invested. We want to do it.
Emulate whatever it is that we're watching, and we want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
What else is interesting?
Hierarchy. So it mentions I don't like hierarchy, which is true. And it's more about, I like working as a team and I see everyone being as equals. I'm not a big fan of hierarchy. So even at work, like consultants are consultants and like Regis or middle grade doctors, but I have seen myself multiple times, and I think people have kind of like told me off about it. It's like I see them as human beings, and sometimes I forget the fact that they are my bosses and they're my boss's boss. But so far, thankfully, it's worked in my favor, because I feel in medicine there's this, okay, you can't touch them or you can't talk to them, and you can never ask a consultant how was your weekend or how your kid's doing, or even a reg. Whereas for me, I enjoyed breaking down those barriers. And one thing I've learned in one tip is get to know your colleagues more than medicine and outside of medicine. Because, you know, everyone's got lives out of medicine. Do you know what I mean? They've got kids, they've got children, they've got their own interests and hobbies. And once you break that barrier and get to know them, you know, we're not saying be friends with everyone in your workplace, but things do become easier.
And you start working for each other as well, and you're willing to support each other more, because they're your friend, they're your colleague, rather than just someone.
You know, they did a study. So one of our lectures by an A&E consultant, he said the way they found the productivity and the care of patients improved was when the team went for a coffee break together. and they discuss something not medical related. So that kind of bonds you. And once you have a bond other than medicine, or you have a connection, you go the extra mile. It's like, why do we do things for our friends? It's like me waiting for Amz 2-3 hours yesterday, because there is that. It's not just about the podcast. There's more to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I remember there was, because obviously you kind of read all these books, there was a famous company, I can't remember, where each morning they would spend 15 minutes before every meeting talking about everything except business.
Yeah.
And that made them really strong, and they knew each other's kids, each other's wives. So I'd say, get to know them. But then again, like he mentions here, is I have this problem. When you're a true leader, you have to kind of have a leadership thing where I make everyone friends. So that works against you, because once you're friendly and you need a task to be completed, they may not do it, because now
they're friends with you.
Yeah, they're friends with you, so now they get a free pass. So that is a deficit I've kind of noticed. All right.
Because on the topic of you need to have a personality to be a certain doctor, does it say anything like
career-wise,
you need to be in this certain career?
So for my thingy, which is a campaigner, the career options are stuff like writing, journalism, acting, but then this is more true. So then it goes like, the best way forward for a campaigner in terms of personality wise is either entrepreneurs or consultants. So basically pick and choosing projects that fascinate you, and working with lots of different people and inspiring colleagues and followers. So I'd agree with that. So I do like to pick and choose what I work with, all the things I get involved with, and I think that's what hits the spot for me per se. So I do agree with that regards.
Yeah, so what you've done is, we'll talk about it in a future episode as well. You've actually, so with regards to the entrepreneurship and the consulting in terms of picking and choosing projects, what you've done is you've become a doctor, which is a passion, a joy, a love, but then you've made sure your hobbies and everything else, what your interests are, you brought it to life alongside it.
I think,
so you've covered it. But again, this in terms of a personality wise, it's not necessarily...
Yeah, of course. It doesn't, like, I don't know, I'm not really good at writing, I'm not really good at journalism, definitely not good at acting or anything TV related. Even this podcast, I was never keen on doing it, because I've never been a big fan of being on camera and recording and stuff like that. So the thing with this stuff is, it may give you a guide or whatever. But all right, so we covered my kind of career thing, what this kind of says. What about you? Let's flip it on to you.
So personality test wise,
so what are you again?
The protagonist.
That sounds dangerous, man.
So what does it say? So now this one says, and it's actually true, because my other startups and everything interestingly fall exactly into it. So it talks about the concept of protagonists do what they love most, which is, it says, helping other people, and then it says they want to inspire and they want to open up opportunities for others. They take a genuine interest in others, and they're suited for altruistic careers like social and religious work, teaching, counseling, advising. And if you think about it, I would say
you do all of those.
And I think medicine does cover. Yeah. Medicine does cover. So maybe my personality is a bit in line with
but even outside of medicine, even the advice, counseling, I've come to so many times with problems. So I agree with that, definitely.
Exactly. And even outside of that, so I set up the Wealthy Minds system. Again, with regards to that, it's all about social mobility, supporting others and so forth. And it is what I love. So it's pretty accurate when it comes to that. Let's see what else it says. So they like to be really organized and running well.
True.
Long-term views, people skills, blah, blah, blah. It says careers operating behind enemy lines.
Right. Read it. What does it say?
Snitch. On the other hand. Oh, no. It says we can't operate behind enemy lines because we'll be too sensitive and all of those things. So basically, I can't be a snitch, which is a good thing. All right. Good. See, I'm not a snitch.
Did they give any jobs?
No, not really. So yeah, it said things like teaching, advising, counselling,
Okay, so
all of those things.
But to be fair, you're right. You do that in medicine anyway.
You do
as
that.
a doctor, day to day. That's why you're probably getting the hit.
Exactly. So, if you now look at it, me and you have completely different personalities. We're both doctors, and we've got loads of colleagues who have completely different personalities, and they're all doctors. And I would conclude, if you agree,
Wait,
that
before you go to the famous ones, who's your famous? Who other famous people have the same personality as you?
All right, you go first.
I got Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Shout if you know who that is. Yeah. I got Will Smith.
Yeah.
I got Robin Williams. You know who that is? That's the.
Yeah, Robin
I think
Williams.
he passed away, innit?
Robin Williams passed away.
And who else do I have? Oh, it's gone now.
Is that all you've got?
No, there was a hand, but
Okay.
they all have a females, innit?
Okay, let me go through mine.
Yeah. How do I see it? I have to go.
Barack Obama,
Oh,
Oprah Winfrey,
yeah.
Ben Affleck,
Man.
Malala.
Malala.
Yeah. Let me carry on. Morpheus from the
Okay.
Matrix.
That's
Yeah.
mad.
The Oracle from the Matrix. I'm telling
Who
you.
else do I have? Oh, yeah, I got Quentin Tarantino. He makes banging films. Who else? Russell Brand. Joker. Who are these people?
So Will Smith's probably your best guy. So anyways,
Spider-Man.
guys,
I got Spider-Man. Do you even have a superhero?
I've got
yeah.
Morpheus
Okay.
and the Oracle. That's all I need. They're the
Fine.
powers I need. Anyways, guys, comment in the section below what your personality trait is and who you guys actually resemble in terms of famous characters.
Fine.
So that's the personality test. So yeah, you don't have to have a certain personality to be a doctor at all.
I think so. The purpose was it was a bit of fun just to kind of show to people you don't need to have a particular personality type to be a doctor, or teacher saying you're not the right caliber of student to do medicine. What I would say is these personality tests is neither here nor for me. I don't think you can ever put anyone in a box.
Yeah.
We develop the personality I am today will be very different, or can potentially be different in a year's time, or it may be very different to how I was 2 years ago. So it changes all the time. Never let it be a factor for pursuing medicine or not. But I would say there are skills that you need to develop to become a good doctor. So forget personality.
Exactly. Developing and learning.
It's skills. So develop skills like communication skills, empathy, like Amz said, not sympathy. Sympathy is good to a certain degree, but more empathy, communication skills, caring for people, having a genuine passion for sciences, the human body, helping others. So if anything, always try to make your strength or your weakness a strength. And if you ever get this question, say, I may not have the personality, but sure as hell do have the skills to make a good doctor. And it just goes to show we're completely opposite. But I think on a day-to-day, we still get to do what we love and enjoy. We still get to help people, and it's got nothing to do with personality. So to all the people that message us saying, do you know what, I've been told I don't have the right personality to be a doctor, I think, do you know what, it's skills-based, and you'll pick it up and develop as you go along, and never let that ever put you off on pursuing something you really truly do love. If you want to become a doctor, you go for it.
Yep.
And give it a shot, give it a try. And once you're doing it, or once you've had a go and you personally feel, you know what, this may not be for me, that's different. But never let it be something that doesn't let you or stop you from applying in the first place.
Exactly. And just to finish off with those skills that you talk about, all of those things, medicine helps you develop it, the course helps you develop those skills, so when you are a doctor at the end of the 5 to 6 year timeline, you have those skills. And even before applying, you should be applying to work experience and situations where you're put in. Remember, you can't develop patience just by asking for patience. You have to be put into a situation that requires patience. For example, looking after a patient in an elderly care home who's got dementia and needs assistance with their medication, and repetitively asks the same question. It requires patience. So you need to be putting yourself into situations where you will learn and develop those skills. And it will happen with time, with experience, and with you seeking those opportunities. So yeah, forget about anyone that says doctors have a fixed personality that you're born with. It doesn't exist.
Thank you once again for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, found some entertainment in it. We'll see you next week. And in the meantime, make sure you comment, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. And if you're listening onto Spotify, make sure you keep following us and spread the word.
And drop a review. That's an important thing as well. Otherwise, we'll see you next week.